if you are having trouble in your business, you're getting the wrong clients, you're really struggling, even though you feel like you're doing everything right, like you're doing what people are saying and it isn't working for you.
Hey, it's your host Emily with Poppie Studios. I'm sitting down with fellow creative entrepreneurs as we share our wins, losses, highs, lows, and everything in between that comes from running your own business. So grab a cup of coffee and join the conversation. Welcome back, everybody, to this next episode of the Wildleaf Show in my What I Wish I'd Known series. Today, I am joined by the very talented business strategist, Mary Strachan. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
We're going to be talking about what she wishes she'd known in regards to taking action in a way that's natural for her. And her and I were talking right before we got started, and I'm super excited about this because I think we hear all the time, we get like inundated with all this stuff, like, this is how you should do it. You should be doing it this, try it this way. But then there's always like, but do whatever works best for you. So it's kind of like a yin and a yang, it's contradicting itself. So I'm very excited to hear what you have to say about this. So welcome, Mary. Very excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yay. So tell everybody a little bit about you and your business journey, and then we'll kind of dive into that topic.
Sure. Wow, where to start?
I know.
Yeah, when I first started, I wanted to be a parenting and kids coach, and that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. And
what a unique thing! I love that.
Yes, thank you. And what I found was I was really confident in my ability to help people, but on the business side of things, not really sure I knew what I was doing.
I feel like that is so many of us. So yes.
And so, of course, I am very much, I love learning. And so what I do if I didn't know how to do something, I would read and I would start, researching it. And that's, how I started learning from others how to do things. And sometimes didn't feel very good to me, some of the things that I was being asked to do, which brought me clients who wanted a different thing than I was offering. And it kind of, was a bit of a big mess.
I love that. I love that you said that. I think that so many entrepreneurs struggle with that. So I love that you talked about that. And I'm sure we'll talk about it more, but yeah.
Yeah. So I had to have a little break, and I had to say, and in the meantime, I was, my journey is a kind of a wonky one. I was going to networking meetings, not with parents, but with other entrepreneurs. And so that's how I started seeing some of the challenges that parents face with kids who have ADHD and certain other things are very similar to the challenges that some entrepreneurs have in through and taking action. And having a strategy that works for them and really feeling comfortable with who they are and how they work. And often that doesn't fit with the typical business model.
You're so right.
And so that's how I started doing what I do now.
That is a great journey. I love that. And what a unique perspective. And I feel like you've really honed in on something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, finding what works for them, getting the clients that make them happy so that they can make the clients happy too.
Yes.
I think a lot of us struggle with that. So I guess we can dive in then. So what do you wish you'd known in that regard about finding something that is more natural, more fits with your personality, your business style? How do you even go about that?
Well, I think it is really, it starts with understanding yourself and how you work best.
Yeah.
And then being willing to accept that, really. And then not be, I don't want to say tricked into, but not feeling that you're wrong.
Right.
And then therefore have to change to fit into the box of how to be in business.
I love that. Oh, yeah. Just accept who you are. Be honest with yourself
Yes.
about who you are. I think that's where a lot of us struggle, is really being honest with ourselves and not like checking what we think we're supposed to check, but
Mhm.
instead checking what we're really about.
So for me, a big thing that I saw when I first started out was you have to work with people for 12 months. That
Okay.
was as a coach, you got to lock them in to a 12-month package.
Sure.
Meanwhile, I was kind of locked into some 12-month packages and really didn't enjoy it.
Sure.
But I thought I was just like, okay, well, I have to do this because this is the formula.
Yeah.
Um, but someone finally said to me, if you don't like working with people for 12 months or you
Right.
like really short interactions with people, then why not just set yourself up to offer short interactions? And so now I have 30-day and 90-day
Nice.
completion partnerships with people. And I have the opportunity, if I really like them and things are going well, I can still offer them another 90 days if I'd like to.
Love that.
But I'm not starting out from the place of somewhere that I don't want to be in the first place.
So how do you think that that's impacted just like your overall happiness with your business and your clients?
Oh, it was first of all a weight off of my shoulders to feel
Oh,
not that I had to do that when I didn't really want to, and it made it hard to sell. How can
yes.
you sell something that you aren't really excited about or happy about or dreading even?
Right.
Um, you don't sell it very well.
Right.
And I think the energy comes through. So it is so much easier for me now to say, this is how I work. We start off with a 30-day or a 90-day. And if it goes really well, and I also tell them that part of the reason I like the shorter is the longer I spend with someone, the less perspective I have. So
Yes.
I have a reason also that I can share with people.
Yes.
I lose some of that perspective. I become too involved.
That's
Um,
a thing. That's a real thing. So it's amazing that you recognize that.
yeah, and that I mean, I part of what I do is I'm able to see from the outside very quickly what's going on, and so the more time you spend, I lose that, and then I lose a bit of what makes me special.
Yeah.
Not me special. I think other people have that, but
Sure.
um, what I'm really saying, what I do,
You're right.
is that perspective. So.
Yeah. I liked what you said about, it felt like a weight off your shoulders. And I
Mhm.
and I have experienced this myself, and I've seen fellow creative entrepreneurs experience this themselves too, is just almost like it's a burden, like whatever they've been told they need to do, they're
Yes.
doing it, but it doesn't feel good. It feels heavy. They
Hmm.
end up procrastinating on it
Yes.
because they don't want to do it.
Absolutely.
Right? So like these are all warning signs that you're not doing the right thing for you.
Right. And for some people, they can actually feel in their body that it feels bad.
Right.
And part of the challenge of that is we're often told when, well, you're just afraid. And so you got to bust through that, break through the fear and do it anyways, which I do agree. There are certain things that is totally true about. Um, it can be scary to take
Sure.
action. But
Yes.
I feel that there's a difference between feeling that scariness and doing it anyways, um, and that there's something bad. Like I feel bad about this. Like that's a different story.
Right.
And so, that's a
Yeah.
bit of a fine line, I guess.
Yeah, right. So what signs did you notice in yourself, and what would you suggest other new businesses look for that maybe, like, if you're experiencing this, if you're feeling this, if you notice this, then maybe it's not right for you? What are some really common things that we can look out for, like you? And I love that you brought up the quote is something about miraculous is just on the other side of fear or something like that, or whatever the quote is. And I think a lot of us are like, okay, I'm just scared to do this. I need to do it anyway. But you also need to like gut check and really listen to your intuition too.
Yes.
So what are some other things that people can think about to really be honest and ask themselves, am I doing this for the right reasons?
Mm-hmm. Well, has someone else told them to do it?
Sure.
Is one kind of, I guess, maybe obvious thing,
Right.
or is it something that they've, kind of naturally come to themselves? Like, how did they arrive at this place of feeling like it's the thing that they should be doing?
Sure.
Um, I like to think about it as, well, if you can remember a time that you've been afraid and kind of conjure up that feeling, is it the same feeling that you're experiencing before you hit the send button to invite someone on your podcast?
Right. Because there are definitely different types of fear.
Yes, definitely. So there, yeah, and even exploring, like, okay, there are, like, I talk about three main kinds of fear.
Okay.
Do they fall into there's this perfectionist trap, which
Sure.
is, is it good enough?
Right.
There's like an avoidance trap, which is,
I'm so guilty of that. Like,
yeah,
that's
like
mine.
there's like a fear of the unknown,
Yeah.
and the like a distraction,
Mhm.
pattern as well, which, there's the fear of a rejection, those kinds of things. So you can ask yourself, what am I afraid of?
Yeah. Specifically.
Specifically,
Yeah.
what am I avoiding? Because it
Mhm.
might be just a hard truth that they're
Mhm.
trying to avoid. But the concept of this not being in alignment and it feeling bad inside, there's a real resistance to that. And the more you can, for me, this is about going against something that you believe in or that
Mhm.
you value.
Okay.
The example that I usually give to help explain this is, I used to do telesummits, and one of the things that we were asked to do is ask the potential person, the number of people on their email list.
I think we've all heard that. I feel like
Yes.
we've all heard that.
So that felt really bad to me.
Me too. So tell me this. So tell me why that is. Because yeah,
Yeah.
for me too, it felt bad.
Um,
I feel like I'm getting a counseling session right now.
yeah. Well, I can only tell you for me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Number one, it was a weird criteria for me because I wanted quality people on my telesummit. So was I really getting that, or was I getting someone who had a lot of people on their email list? That was
Yeah.
one part of it. But I really, it took me a long time to figure this out. And I really felt like, what is wrong with me that I have a problem with
Me
this?
too. Yeah.
Um, for me, I have a value of inclusion.
Okay.
And so as I was excluding people based on their email list, it was really rubbing up against that. And my telesummit topic it was so ironic to me, was about kids who are being excluded and how to like help them. So so that's how I really, I mean, it took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
That, oh, I'm not wanting to do this because it's going against something that I believe in.
Right.
And so when I stopped and I just talked to people who are really interesting and I didn't worry about the email size,
Yeah.
I felt I put together a much better and interesting, panel of interviewees
Love
rather
that.
than worrying about. Now, did the formula work for me? No, because I didn't have the numbers
Sure.
to build my email list.
I think that's an important point too, though. Is speaking about numbers, that makes me think about, like followers and likes and things like that on our Instagram, our Facebook pages. I think how you feel, and it sounds to me like that's what you're saying, like it's about quality, not quantity.
For me, it is.
Yes, absolutely. Right. And for me too, same thing. But I know some people are totally like chasing that quantity number, and
Mm-hmm.
they're totally fine with paying robots to like their page, and because that's what they want, and they're totally fine with that. But
Yes.
then on the flip side, there's people like you and I who are like, I want that quality.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
Well, and I think it's to me like it's I want to be above the line.
Okay.
I want to be above the line in terms of what's ethical to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not be the same as for someone else, but I have a
Right.
feeling that there's more people who want to be above the line, but are feeling like they need to be below the
Yeah.
line to be successful.
Right. And that ties all into the topic we're talking about, taking action, doing things in a way that are natural for you.
Yes.
And that can mean, like what you're saying right now, don't go after the minimum number of email list people on their email list. Go after what's more important to you. And I think that can be applied to like anything in your business.
Absolutely. I think it's the willingness, and this goes back to kind of answering your question. Are you willing to stand in your own, self
Yeah.
and build your business in a way? Because I believe you can. I
Mm-hmm.
believe you can build your business um, doing things that feel right to you, because they do feel right to you, and they're going to go, number one, they're going to go way more smoothly, and you're not
Yes.
going to have the resistance. There's not going to be I believe things, these roadblocks sometimes are meant to make us stop and say, okay, why is this not working?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little something there that
Right.
isn't quite aligned for you.
Right. Like, is it a me problem? Is it a execution problem? Is it, and I love what you said, just like really stepping into yourself. And that's
Yeah.
a hard thing to do. That is a really hard thing to do. Just be really honest with yourself about your intentions, your morals, your ethics, and
Mm-hmm.
building on that. But I think when you really start to understand yourself,
Yes.
you're confident in yourself, and then you
Yes.
can start to build things that work for you.
And I think confidence, let's face it, being an entrepreneur, like it's not necessarily an
No.
easy, we have so many things that we have to, we have to create our own structure, and we have to,
Yeah.
so many figure things out.
Yeah.
And then on top, we have to, kind of stay true to ourselves and follow through on that truth can be
Yes.
scary. That's, I think, the scary part.
Yes. 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 I think that's why it takes the courage and all of that is being honest with yourself, because now you're just kind of like an open book then, right? The more honest you are with yourself, the more you start putting these processes in place that are reflective of you. Now you kind of feel, at least for me, I feel like now I'm a bit of an open book. People are starting
Yeah.
to see a little bit more of me. It comes back to the whole, are they going to like me? Are they not going to like me?
Right. Yeah, and
So,
that's a real thing. Like that, you know, but I think what's important here is the people who, there will be people who like you, and those are the people that you want to hang out with. And the
yes.
people who don't, why, that don't resonate, it's okay. And I think I was just having this conversation, being okay with that fact that some people aren't going to like you, and it's a good thing.
Yes. It's amazing my own mental shift when I stopped chasing every inquiry that came in, lowering my standards to just get them as a client,
Mm-hmm.
and started really holding firm with, this doesn't feel right. This is what I'm willing to do. All the business missions and values that I had in place that I knew I wanted for long-term growth, started sticking to those. Now I've got a really great solid foundation of clients who understand that, believe that, and get it. And I think that that's the shift you start to see. It's scary to start saying no to people if they don't
Yes.
line up, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
very empowering to move on, forget about that, because then right around the corner, there's going to be a client who fits perfectly.
Yes. I think the other thing is sometimes when you know what's true for you, it's hard to see how to make that work.
Yes.
Like, or know what you don't want, but then you don't really know what to do. Like, you're not entirely sure how it, like, if you know you don't want to have a Facebook group, for example, well, then what are the other options if everybody's saying, like, that's the thing that you have
Yeah.
to do? So
That
I
is a
think that's
great point.
part
Great.
of the challenge a little bit too, is that maybe people aren't quite sure how to make what is true for them or what they're great at work for them as a strategy to grow their business.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it absolutely does. And I think that's a even an excellent point to bring up too is, yeah. So now you're being honest with yourself. You know that a Facebook group doesn't feel right to you. It's not something you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but now what?
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for those people then? If a lot of mainstream things that are being parroted out by multiple people aren't sitting right with them, what are some tools, what are some resources maybe where they can go to find things that would work for them?
I love a book, and maybe I'll just confirm this with you, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's called Traction.
Okay.
And I mean, if you're looking for some ideas, I think there's like in the teens number of ideas of how to build traction in your business. It's one
Okay.
of my favorite resources. Social media is one out of
Hmm.
those multiple ideas. So I think people will get some ideas from the list there.
Nice. Well, we'll be sure to include a link below too.
Yeah, thank you. And the other thing is really, I'm kind of a big believer in what's fun for you. Like, I love having conversations with
Yeah.
people and learning from people. So,
My dog in the background.
yeah. My cat was coming in, and I think I got
Funny.
a little excited and she ran off. So,
Oh, we must have too, because he was snoring. So I'm surprised nobody heard him snoring. That's my dog. He's here all the time. But anyway, sorry.
yeah, what do you love to do? Like, like, why wouldn't you do what you love to do to promote your business?
Yes.
Like, I think there's some clues there, and maybe you have to, get maybe help to refine
Absolutely.
the strategy out of it. But if you love teaching, or if you love, having conversations, or if you love writing, like
Like
those are things that
workshops,
you
things like
can
that.
exactly
Yeah.
how to. There's some clues there.
Yeah. I
So
think
I
that's
would look
great.
at what people have done in the past. A, that's worked. B,
Hmm.
that they've loved doing, and C, maybe even felt effortless to do
That's so
because it
important.
was so natural to them.
Yes. I think that's a great point to stop on too, because it kind of ties back into if it feels heavy,
Hmm.
find something that feels effortless then.
Yeah.
One of my
Some
current
people,
clients I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, some people don't feel it as a heaviness, like a physical sensation. So I think you just have to figure out what that
What your
is for
trigger is.
you. Exactly. But
Yeah.
for sure, for me, I feel a sensation
Yeah.
in my body. So,
And for me, it's total procrastination. Like I noticed if I just keep pushing it off, even by a day,
yes.
and then it turns into a week, and then it's like someday, like that was my clue that this is not for me.
Right.
Don't fight it. Like, and I was saying, one of my current clients doesn't like social media, struggled with it forever, started
Yes.
doing workshops instead, and that's her calling. So
Yeah.
like now she's got the traction there because workshops are her calling. So
Hmm.
find the thing that, like you said, makes you happy, fills you up, turns your
Yeah,
light on.
exactly.
Love
I
it.
think people can find that without having to go to a book or like, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe there's someone out there that helps. Obviously, there's businesses built on
Yes.
that. And I think a little check-in with yourself can find that information.
That is a great tip. I love that. Well, thank you for sharing with us today. So listen to the replay, you guys, because I feel like we covered a lot of really great stuff. Really great stuff.
Oh yeah,
But
sorry if I maybe jammed too much.
no, I feel like it's really good. And I want tell people where they can find you so they can follow up more. So how can people find you? What's the best? Where are you hanging out the most?
The best place is for you to come to my website. I'm one of those people who have a little, not so comfortable on social media.
Sure.
I am on Instagram, but if you come to mariamstrawn.com,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get to see what I'm about there.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll include the link below too. And then you also have, I was looking at your website a little bit before, you have this thing called the alignment grid, but you
Yes.
have a really great freebie that is a preamble to that, basically, the Find My Alignment Kit. So tell us a
Yes.
little bit about that because it all ties in with what we were saying today.
Yes. So I'm a certified ambassador for something called the Alignment Grid, which is created by Beth Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a choice making tool.
Love it.
It's a grid. So it's built on the premise of if you work from your natural style combined with your personal persuasion power, which is kind of the way that you influence people, you will be in alignment and things will flow a lot simpler. And
Oh
so,
my gosh.
yeah, so when you find your square, not your box, your square on the
Love that.
alignment grid, and it's usually, sometimes people have more than one, but we try to help narrow down to one or two. Then you can use that as a touchstone for all of the decisions and the actions that you want to make in your business to grow and evolve in a way that really feels good to you.
Awesome. That sounds like, as an entrepreneur, that should be step one when you start your entrepreneur journey. Seriously, I feel like this would save so many people heartache and heaviness in their journey if we
Yes,
learned our power of persuasion and our natural, what was the other one?
natural style.
Natural style. You are speaking my language right now. I need to look into this even more. So, okay, so tell people like you're also offer one-on-one, which I assume includes some of this too as well, right?
Yeah, so on my website, you would see I help people translate their ideas into real life. So that's one way that I can help people. If it can be a passion project, it can be something a bit more practical to grow their business. There's, figuring out what it is. I help them make an action map. And then if they need me to, I stay with them and do the completion partnership so that they follow through and finish. And all that would be the alignment grid information would be running in the background
Nice.
so that what they're doing is aligned and then therefore will be simpler and easier. However, this isn't on the website, but it's coming, but alignment guidance, which means if you are having trouble in your business, you're getting the wrong clients, you're really struggling, even though you feel like you're doing everything right, like you're doing what people are saying and it isn't working for you, then I will help you figure out what's going on, doing a bit more of a problem solving process.
Okay.
Um, and then, but then turning that into a project so that you can
That sounds amazing.
finish
Like
it.
amazing. Yeah, it's really understanding yourself, your powers, your personality, and putting that to good use for your business. I
Yeah.
I feel like we all need that. So
Yeah. It's been
definitely
helpful
check her
to me.
out.
Yes. Thank
Check
you.
her out. Yeah, well, I'll have the links in the description below. Thank you so much for all of your great info. I feel like we could just keep talking forever on this. It's fascinating and I think so valuable to really understand what we've been talking about today and reflect it on yourself and apply it to yourself too. So,
Thank you for having me.
thank
Fun to
you.
talk to you.
All right. Well, until next time, Wild, we'll see ya.
Bye, everyone.